Our goal hasn't changed since 2009. We support, promote, engage, and inspire the arts community by igniting the ghost light that shines on the stages of the up-and-coming, the unsung heroes, the brilliant writers, and the dynamic designers. Stay tuned. Rep Radio is on the air.
Welcome to Rep Radio. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and after what seemed to be a marathon of getting here, I am standing in front of the newly reimagined, renovated home of Theatre Exile, and I'm standing outside with Deb Block. Deb, welcome back to Rep Radio. It's always a pleasure, and I'm finally glad to be able to come home to talk to you.
Thank you so much. It's always lovely to talk with you, and I'm thrilled that you are among the first to come back home, take Exile back home.
Yeah, so as the listeners, you will not be able to see this wonderful space just yet, but you should definitely buy tickets to the show. We're also going to be talking about An Oak Tree, written by Tim Crouch, which is it a Philadelphia premiere?
It is a Philadelphia
premiere,
yes.
Starring, featuring Pearce Bunting.
Correct.
And a slew of guest artists.
That's correct. 22.
Yes,
22.
Which is a feat in itself. So we will talk about all of that. But first, we're going to take an audible tour of this new venue.
Well, we're at 13th and Reed right now, which is where our home was before. We turn one way and we see the beautiful Columbus Square Park across the street. It is, in the spring, it's filled with flowers. And we look the other way and we're looking at Farragali's Bakery. And if I look straight ahead at Theatre Exile, I see this beautiful brick building with iron adornments that looks like it's been here forever.
Yes.
Because they use
no more
real
random,
brick.
like simple sign, random doorways. Like, is this where we're supposed to go?
Well, there might be a little bit of that for a little while because it's not done. It's not done. The building itself, it was created by Center City developers, Mickey Murray and Noah Ostroff, really wanted to create something that felt grounded in the community, and they really used good materials. It's honest to God, real brick built here, but it's still under construction. The building is called the Exile Building.
Is it?
It is. They named it after us.
That's so awesome. They're committed to you being here forever.
They are. Considering we were Johnny come lately, so to speak, we convinced them after they bought our old building that it would be a good idea to have a theater in there, and they promptly informed us we couldn't afford them, and they were right because they had to have a commercial space. I thought it was going to be this first floor commercial.
Yeah.
And when I went back and asked them again, being the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different answer. The second time I asked them, I informed them that the majority of what a theater does can be subterranean. And they got really excited, and a week later they came up with their first designs.
Wow.
And it was quite a number of months of negotiations and discussions, but it was clearly motivated by mutual passion, because even though at the end of the day it makes business sense for everyone, the journey to coming together was tough, and because it was two businesses that don't usually work together, really working together well, and it was really exciting.
And I remember when there were rumors coming at first because we weren't sure, we were just hearing a little bit.
I wasn't sure.
It was it was touch and go for a while. We're like, no, that beautiful park, that wonderful space. It just seemed like, this community needed an arts center, and Theatre Exile had filled that void, and it was such a great space. And plus, selfishly, this is in very easy walking distance for me.
Well, it's also that's true for a lot of artists.
Yeah.
Walking distance to the theater. When we first started rehearsing here, like, thank you for doing this so close to my house. I just rolled out of bed. And then the people that live in this neighborhood, I mean, I while I love that audiences come far and wide to come to Theatre Exile. They come from distances to come see it. There's plenty of people who are culturally inclined, walking distance from the theater. And why shouldn't they have a professional theater in their neighborhood, especially such a wonderful neighborhood?
Which is really great, too, because I often think about, like, why wouldn't I patronize an art center in my neighborhood? And I always walk around the city and I say, there's some buildings I will have no reason to go into. Mm-hmm. And it's just because the nature of their business is not designed for me, or there's nothing I can really benefit from. But a theater is something for the community. It's for everyone. And even if the mission is specific, you can still find a way. You can find your seat in this space. So I think that's great too.
Wow, what a great turn of phrase.
Right?
Yeah. Great turn of phrase. And it is true. I mean, there were people that were excited by having a theater here when we first came, and we needed to get a zoning variance to have assembly class. They were really excited and helped support us, but it actually took them a couple of years to come to the theater itself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes people a while to understand and come here and know that you have a professional quality theater right in their neighborhood. I've seen neighbors at the Wilma and at the Arden that haven't come to us yet, but I think it's also about a learning curve and what people expect. People expect things to be in Center City, but you have to stop expecting that.
Yeah, definitely. Now we just have to embrace our public transit system so that you don't have to have a concern about parking over here, because I know that's probably something that's weighing on people's minds. But
it is, and what I have found just historically, if you go out to dinner first, you don't have a problem.
Exactly.
Also, Victor Cafe has valet parking, and any night except Saturday, you can go eat dinner and then leave your car until the end of the show.
Yeah.
I can't do that Saturday, but any other day, they're really game to do that. And so the neighbors have been figuring out ways of making work. But yes, we are walking distance to 2 subway stops, and right between Federal Ellsworth and Tasker Morris, and we're 1 block from Broad Street, where there's buses, and also a bus on 12th Street. So there's just ways of getting here,
and also very close to the Passyunk neighborhood.
Yes.
If you hang out there, just on the other side of the park.
Yeah, go to dinner.
Yes,
I
definitely.
love eating.
All right. So
All right.
I'm
we
excited.
Walk?
Yes.
All right. So we're walking on 13th Street. They've made big, beautiful windows and this really solid brick, and they created.
Are they going to put a coffee shop in here?
I actually think they are. They're negotiating it. So we're going to stop at this portal here, which is going to be a gateway. They're literally making a wrought iron gate that's going to say Theatre Exile.
This is on the north side of the building.
That's right.
A little entryway.
So it's going to be a courtyard for us, one day landscaped. Because everything is not done at this point, if I look to my right, I can see what was the back wall of Theatre Exile's theater. The black paint, which was painted over, and you can see it chipping right now. When it gets a little bit warmer, this house belongs to Bobby. Bobby's house would be plastered over, and but for the time being, you can see the last remnants of the old Theatre Exile space right there.
Yeah.
But this courtyard is going to be specifically for Theatre Exile.
For summer openings.
That's right. Well, in spring and fall. And because this is an apartment building that has 23 units in it, but they use a different entrance. This is literally for Theatre Exile. This courtyard will be for us. Now let me dig out my key.
This is beautiful.
Right, and so
it's very nice, new, modern, but it has a factory feel, but like a
definitely
rehab.
Does. This solid door at some point will have a different glass door in it.
Cool.
And but for the time being,
we're going inside. I'm so excited.
And when we go inside, I'm very happy to say that there's a couple gentlemen from Otis working on our elevator, which is one of the main things that we're still working on, because it will be entirely accessible once this is done.
So we're entering into a workspace. So you're going to hear people talking, and that's just how it's going to be.
This is our first lobby. Hey, how you doing? This is our
we're in the lobby.
Lobby.
Come on, Wi-Fi.
We have Wi-Fi in here. Look,
I
it's
know,
right
I
over
see
there.
it.
So this is the first lobby, the upper lobby. It's about the size of the Louvre lobby, maybe a little narrower, but longer, probably to where the bathrooms are there. So an absolutely fine space. It's going to be our box office space. We decided not to have a solid box office, but we're actually designing, using a local designer, a movable box office space.
Ooh.
So that because we don't have a lot of space, every space has to have multiple functions.
Yeah.
So in the evening, this will be your box office, but during the day, I might have a class here.
Okay.
Or I might have, in the evening, might have receptions or something for a community event. We're going to go downstairs.
Are we naming this lobby? Are there
Yes,
naming rights available?
The Wolfsons
Oh,
actually have supported
okay.
it, just like the Cardis have supported our courtyard.
Great.
Now, we're walking down a set of stairs. When it's all ready, eventually you'll have elevator or stairs, but
But these stairs aren't too bad, though.
No,
Not
they're
bad
wide
at all.
and they're well lit, and the lights are automatic reaction, so you walk in, it goes on. I'll probably put runners on those because it's a little
Yeah.
loud. And you're sort of going to wind your way into the theater. You're still going to hear construction because this is
Sweet. We're going to talk over all this construction, but
Yay.
that's fine.
And so here you are at the lower lobby, and what's going to happen is over here we're going to have a little kitchenette during the day. I have my copy machine. I'll have a refrigerator. I'll have a little table. It'll be a breakout room. But in the evening, I'll probably I'll have a little thing that I put in front of there so I can sell concessions.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm going to take us over across the lobby.
Is there any office space?
Yes, there it is.
Oh, great.
So if you notice that there's an exposed concrete wall here. Let's watch the gentleman's.
So we can put Exile memories on it?
Right. Well, they wanted to keep it as raw as possible. Cecil Baker and partners were our architects. Landmark Architect did the whole building, but Cecil Baker helped us with ours. And they wanted to keep that rawness that is Theatre Exile. And so we actually put some theater pipe up here so I could hang dramaturgical materials, things like that. Let's go into this little space, which is our office. It's about the size of our office in our old space.
Nice.
back here. So it's kind of small, very intimate. It's a one room because we work together. But that movable box office that I told you about, we'll be able to come down here and sort of extend our office a little bit out there. Our ticket system will be there. And in front of this wall, this door, and the other door, we'll have these big, heavy, steel, beautiful barn doors that'll slide open and close.
That's
and so
really
there'll be
cool.
another sort of very just design.
Just to tie in that warehouse feel.
Warehouse, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. So over here are
Gender neutral restrooms.
There you go, all gender, and then over here is going to be 2 water fountains, and you would be shocked at how expensive those ones that fill in like you can fill your bottles in. It cost me thousands more. I was so happy to have it because that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. So here's our all
everybody
gender
has a water
restrooms.
bottle.
Everyone has a water bottle, and they should be filling it up and not doing more.
I feel like the Drake raised the bar on the standards for restrooms.
They did.
Ladies and gentlemen of Rep Radio, first we're in a bathroom doing an interview.
Now I feel like we should be singing together. Oh, and I'm so happy I'm a first with you.
Yes.
Yay. So here we are in our gender neutral restrooms. Any one or all gender restrooms, because it's a single room, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stalls and a urinal because that's Philadelphia code for whatever reason, and is shared. But I think they called it a bar.
Common sink.
Sink, and it's great. It's got
lot of
slabs and things like that.
And you don't feel at all uncomfortable sharing this space with everybody. This is a good restaurant.
Excellent, yay! And for those of you who've been to Exile before, I'm happy to say restrooms.
Yes.
Right. So
I don't think anybody cares now as long as there's more than 2.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we're actually descending. We're going a little further down as we head to...
There's a little bit of steps, but there's also a ramp for accessibility, which is great. Oh my God.
They dug down for us.
Look at this space.
Yeah. So
how many seats?
We are zoned for 125 occupancy
in
here. Currently, right now, we have set up for 115 seats. We actually can fit more in here.
Yeah.
But that's what we set up for right now.
This feels like neighborhood house.
It has that feeling because it's 17 feet from base of the floor to the ceiling. The grid hangs lower because it had to get around the HVAC system. And we're going to have ultimately curtains that go around 3/4 of this space. The goal was to make it as flexible as we possibly could. So what I asked our architects to do is I said, we didn't have a lot of storage. We wanted to keep this space as affordable as possible for us because we don't want to change our business model.
Yeah.
We want to keep doing the shows that we're doing, and if we made something too big, we wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
We actually got offered more space, and I chose not to take it because we literally just couldn't afford it and change who we are. So what they did for me is we had to create some storage spaces. I have a dressing room that I'll show you in a second, and I'm going to show you this room in here in a moment called the lab. But above those spaces, I said, don't take it all the way up to the ceiling. They made me a mezzanine.
Wow.
And so what this little mezzanine, it's not for audiences, it's for us, for tech. I have the data set up on these two different mezzanines that I can have the stage manager set up on either one.
On either side.
Either one. I had them create, I was worried about where am I keeping my dimmers, where am I keeping my things. In our old space, everything got dirty all the time. They actually created little closets for me that have its own HVAC zone in there to keep our equipment clean and cool. And they were so sweet. They saw me struggling for space. There was this little space between the top of the bathroom and the floor above, again, because we dug down. So they built it out for us so we can keep some lighting equipment and things in there. They were just trying to be as thoughtful as possible, and they were great. They were great with it. And so we got these brand new risers. They're actually movable, so we can be as flexible as possible.
Be creative in here. This is cool.
Yeah, and so there had to be a support pole. You can see it over there. That was one of the earlier discussions: is where in the world is that pole going? And we decided over here where it is, and I decided to create a little room. And they said, "Oh, good, you can use it as storage." I went, "No, we'll have the mezzanine on top, but." What it's going to be is I'm calling it the lab. So during the day, maybe I'll have readings of scripts, or in the evenings, maybe I'll have a breakout meeting. Maybe if there's a rehearsal, because it's right next to the theater and the actors need to work, they can be in there. But in the evening, it can be a green room, and it can also, I put 3 doors on this room so that I can have people come in from any which way.
Yeah.
So that I didn't want to create a flexible space and then inadvertently create things that kept it from being flexible, such as the dressing room only being in one place.
So they're always entering from the back, but that's not the case
That's
here.
not the case. I have doors here, over here, in here, and then on the other side.
I'm nerding out at all this tech in here, and it's not just theater tech. There's tech to handle the climate control. There's advanced wireless technology in here, because all of that stuff, if you're going to talk about what a great experience you have in this space, you have to be able to connect to the outside world. So all of that stuff is really helpful.
And I'm going to save my favorite part of it to the end, but I'm walking us right now into the dressing room.
I like this.
So it's not done. Because the show has one main actor who needs a dressing room, we didn't worry about, there are certain things we didn't worry about finishing. Yeah, we wanted to get the show up and running. We wanted to get legal.
Yes.
And so there's going to be...
There are 8 vanities and 2 bathrooms.
With showers, each with showers.
What?
Yes. All right, because if anyone
I'm going to pop
remembers,
in one day and be like, hey, can I just take a shower?
we did Guards of the Taj and we did Lieutenant of Inishmore. And everyone knows some of our shows you get bloody. So,
Oh, this is great.
right. So,
Actors are going to love working here.
So what's going to be in here that you're not seeing right now is a very elaborate system of curtains, so that everyone can have their own space. I can deal with any gender
Privacy
eventuality,
dividers.
and that I don't have to. No one has to be pigeonholed into any experience. That they can have whatever experience they want. I've had shows where we put up curtains and everyone got rid of the curtains and they all wanted to share one space. Right? But they can have whatever experience they want to prepare for the show. They all have their own little cubbies, but if there's and basically I gave to the architect the equity guidelines to make sure we, at minimum, took care of that.
I'm sure we need all of those.
Yeah, to make sure that we met all of those.
Great.
So I'm going to take you just to see our...
Oh, and I love the underneath the risers, you got a lot of room for storage.
Yeah. Well, these
great.
risers will go away between the shows because, again, we want it to be as flexible as possible. We had very little storage, but here's a little one that basically our risers or some scaffolding will be in. I wanted you to see this beautiful little ladder to get up to the mezzanine.
To get to the booth,
to
great.
Get to the booth. If you want to go up, I'm more than happy to
Sure.
do that. Oh,
I'll
okay.
take it.
All right, let's
I'm
see.
holding my recorder and walking up the stairs. Going up the ladder. Memories. It reminds me of high school. Oh, this nice little door, little guardrails. It's super safe up here.
Safe.
Yeah.
I
Let you get up here.
I have to say that I don't always feel like our last space was as safe as it could have been. And I never...
Well, it was a garage, right?
Well, it was a garage and it was small, and I feel like it was really important for us to do everything to make sure that the people that are working here feel as safe and protected as they can.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So,
Oh, I like this, and it's open, and there really isn't a blind spot.
no, it really is. So we're looking down at if I wanted to have an actor up here, we can do that. You're pretty close to the grid, but we can create a scenario for that. We created these little divots in there to help with load-in.
Cool. That's great. Very clever.
Yeah. And then that's where Courtney, our production manager, and Sam, our stage manager, can have desks up here and file cabinets.
Good,
And
good.
again, we have data set up here, so they won't be, blocked out from anything, but they'll have their own space.
And like you said earlier, you got the flexibility. You can be in this configuration we have right now, or you have one other option.
Right. Well, you can do multiple options. We just have 2 stage manager points, but in our old space, this is bigger than our old space, and what we did is we decided every show where the stage manager was going to be. And
Yeah.
we could still do that as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
I always when you're thinking about smaller spaces like I guess like Independence on 3, how it has that flexibility, but Studio 5 didn't.
Right.
And I always wanted Studio 5 to have that flexibility, but we don't have either of those spaces.
Right.
No,
Well-
but it would be great to see something in the round. You can have audience on both sides and have it in the center.
Absolutely. I mean, if you recall in our old space, we did Cock, and that was in the round. And we, I don't know if you remember Iron, which was the first show that we had in that space, and it was alley seating. And yeah, so we've tried to do all sorts of things, but it was important to me. I knew I was building these mezzanines, and I knew that there were going to be ladders, but I also had to be big enough and flexible enough, if I have a wheelchair-bound stage manager, that we can do the show with the stage manager on the ground, and we can
that's
do
great.
that. And so that also went into our thinking.
So how do you get to the mezzanine from the?
You don't. So that's why I said we don't have to use it.
Oh, okay.
We
All right.
absolutely don't
Yeah.
have to use it. And I didn't want to create a scenario where even though I wanted to take advantage of all the space that we had, but that kept me from hiring whoever was the best person for the job at any given time.
We don't want to be limited. There's so much talent here, and it takes all forms.
That's right. And so that was incredibly important to me, that we could do that. And so we got like extra risers, and we can do whatever we want in order to make sure that we can indeed do whatever we want.
I feel like if I were you and Joe, I would be back here just watching every show, this entire run.
Yeah.
You'll be here.
Well, he does that. He definitely does that. So
HVAC.
we had so the HVAC system was, as you imagine, a big discussion, and because the landlord was incredibly generous, they supplied in their lease the initial HVAC system they supplied, but but I don't think that it was really thought through initially. What does it mean to have 100 people in a room and stage lights? And so we didn't want to get like the next round up of HVAC system. So because it just would have been prohibitive cost-wise. So what we did is we created splits, so little mini splits. So there's actually 2 systems in here that we can run and that we can control, and again
Handle the load.
Yeah, that can handle the load. So we're standing next to one of the doors, but the others are a little bit more flexible.
Great.
And but part of the deal was any new equipment I get will be LED. So moving forward,
So it won't be as warm.
Yeah, so I knew I wouldn't be able to get that for the first show. So we made sure that we can run with this HVAC system using our pre-existing equipment, but anything new would be LED.
Great. I like these work lights.
Yeah, they very, very fancy. Also LED.
Yes, I just noticed there's one's case isn't on.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. That broke as we were putting it together. Yeah. So we're now walking into Courtney's office, and this is like the little space. They literally just dug it out for us and put walls in there so that we can just put lighting equipment. I mean, it was a small gesture, but it meant so much that they were thinking
Just to
about
tuck
that
it
for
away.
us.
That's good.
Yeah. And so there's one other storage space next, which isn't storage. It's going to have a washer dryer in here, and a slop sink and things like that.
Great.
When we did Guards at the Taj, Jess was
Oh
our
my
production
God.
stage manager. That poor woman, she was dragging that heavy laundry. She broke herself, and she broke my washer because it was just too heavy. And so we're really happy to have it here. Hey, and there's Courtney now.
Hi, Courtney.
Hey, Courtney.
And she's holding a laundry basket.
Of course. Should we go downstairs?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's do that. Hey, do you want to go first? How do we do this?
We'll
pass that
swing
way.
around.
Yeah.
Swing around the wireless here.
Yeah.
We're gonna head back downstairs. Gonna be very careful.
You don't want to drop your audience, your listeners.
Audience, I'm taking you with me. We're going back down the stairs. This is fun.
Yay.
I should do more like this.
Okay, yeah, it is fun.
Incorporate some video next time. All right. We're back downstairs on the main level of the theater. Oh, this looks so great. You guys are all in for a treat.
I'm leaving the stuff in there, and I'll circle back to that. So the last thing I want to tell you about the physical space is the floor that you're walking on. It was really important to me that we be as aware and open to the community that we have. And I know with the theater, it's very hard to work around sometimes other theater companies, but there are tons of dance companies in the city. And I love doing the Fringe, and we've done Solo Festival, and we did the Gay and Lesbian Theater Festival, and hopefully there will be a new incarnation of that. But we originally spec'd out a very traditional sprung floor. And what we realized really fast is we couldn't really treat a sprung floor for dance like a theater floor as well. So our architects designed something special for us, which is this cushion floor, which they went to great lengths to find cushioning that's not going to lose its cush, and it's built up. And Nicole Canuso was kind enough to come and do a test dance on it before we actually built it, before we gave the okay for it. But so dancers can come, and if you have a show that you're throwing people down on the ground a whole bunch, it's not a cement floor. The only downside is if you can hear, it's a little bit hollow under there. You can hear the steps of that, so that's something we have to.
But this is a great base, though.
Yeah.
If you do want to add a.
And it goes the entire length.
Visual color aesthetic, you can do that.
Yeah, but it goes the entire length. So no matter how you want to set this up, that'll work.
Great.
And here we are on the side of an oak tree.
And is there just space back here?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
This is something we'll always have to deal with because there's a sump pump under there.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a little thing. And again, still evidence of construction happening around us.
Great.
It's very much not done yet, but they worked really hard to get this space ready for
Up and running.
audiences.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So we're on the set of an oak tree.
Yeah, and it's this wonderful production that we probably wouldn't have done was absolutely, how do I say this? The right decision and the stupid decision don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive, but we never would have done, this is the right show to be the first show in a theater that's not done.
Yeah.
It's entirely flexible, and the nature of the show shows the levels of reality and the theatricality and the theatrical artifice, and then the stage, and then the reality. You see all of those things. So it's a deceptively simple set, where you literally see the wires and the plugins and the scripts and everything, the bare bulbs. You literally see that here, and it was a simple one to set up. The sound is fairly elaborate, and getting that correct was something to work on. But so it's this wonderful show. The premise is the audience is coming to see a hypnotist. And so you're sitting in the back of a bar. That's the idea, just anywhere where this hypnotist might do his show.
Cool.
And he does direct address with you and takes you into different levels of reality. One where he's talking to you, and he's here at Theatre Exile, to introducing you to the actor that's going to be joining him. And then I can't say too much about the nature of the play because the second actors don't know anything about the script. They absolutely don't. So
if you go to the website, you'll see a list of very notable Philadelphia actors, and then a couple of unexpected but wonderful surprises in there. Yeah. How did you go about compiling that list of people?
Well, it was really, Joe led the charge on that, on who the second actors should be, and Dan O'Neill, who's our casting director, was part of that, and it was really great to bring in Sarah Madden, our marketing director. I was there. We talked about everyone we would like to have as a second actor. Of course, we only had 22 performances, so we couldn't do everyone that we wanted, but our first actor was Brian Anthony Wilson, who was on the first show that Theatre Exile ever did.
Great.
And so that was really important to us and to Joe to do that.
Brian.
We love Brian.
And was Jen last night?
Jen was Sunday night.
Jen Childs. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen. She was just beautiful. She was wonderful. And I know one of the wonderful things, many of you may remember Maggie Siff from Philadelphia. When she was here in Philadelphia, obviously she's made a great name for herself and running in Billions right now. She did Mad Men, Sons of Anarchy. She's just been doing great. And she and Joe remained friends, and so Joe reached out to her about doing this. And she's working with Paul Giamatti, and so I think Paul heard her talking about it, or however that worked, and she connected Paul and Joe. And
he's like, what's this? I don't have enough on my plate.
That's right. That's right. It's really a wonderful experience. And it's really exciting. I think
Paul Giamatti's in for a treat to be amongst all of these wonderful Philadelphia actors.
Oh my God, it's true. It's an what do you say? An embarrassment of riches. I mean to have, and Grace Gonglewski's going to do our opening night, and just and Tito and Amy Smith, who's
Evan Jonigkeit,
who got his degree at UArts, and actually we were going to offer him a part in his show, and he goes, you know what? I'm sorry, I can't take the part. I'm going to go to New York. Let's see how this works. I guess it worked out okay.
Oh, it'll be great to see him on stage in Philadelphia again.
I know, he's such a
and his wife Zosia,
and his
Zosia
wife
Mamet,
who is going to be coming here, and it's. And we all know that Philadelphia actors are superb. We just know that we have tons of just like outstanding Philadelphia performers. And some of the people that are performing aren't even necessarily, they're theater performers, but they stretch outside of that boundary, like Amy Smith, like Makoto Hirano, like Manu, like they expand. They step outside of just traditional theater. We have so many wonderful performers, but it is also great to just remember theater in Philadelphia is on par with anywhere in the States, and we should be having that conversation and bringing in actors from outside next to our wonderful actors.
And we've made so many like venues, so many venues have come and gone in terms of like serving our mission of producing great art in this community. And it's always great to see a new venue come up because I feel like whenever someone sits in a new venue, they're automatically thinking about what they could do in this venue as well. Not to mention the home company. What the home company is going to be able to do in this venue as well.
Well, this never would have happened if there were a plethora of theaters in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I mean, we never would have sought a home in South Philadelphia if it were easy and if there were enough to go around. And Seth and everyone over at the Drake just built these 2 beautiful, gorgeous theaters, and they filled up
very quickly,
amazingly. And so it shows you there needs to be more.
Definitely.
There needs to be more. And I was thrilled, I kind of overwhelmed by how fast this happened. Within 1 year, essentially, of going, okay, I have a lease now, I can start going to people. It was just over a year that we went from nothing to this and raising like 84% of our goal. Our goal is 950,000, and we raised in pledges and donations 800 in a year. And it was only because Philadelphia deserves it.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that Theatre Exile is the vehicle. I'm thrilled that this is our home, but it's clearly not just for us.
Yeah. And so will there be a really nice Theatre Exile sign?
There will someday. That's in my later part. Yes,
there are signing opportunities.
Yeah,
you want to put extra 50 in, make it a cool mill.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, we'll do marquees on the outside, and we negotiating the lease. There were a few things that, in order for us to move forward, I think we all went, okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to the signage.
Let me just take a break.
Let me just take a break.
Let's put a pin in that.
It's okay.
Put it on the
I
side
like you,
for
you
later.
like me. We'll do that later. And so there's some details we still have to work out. And literally for myself, just needed to once we decided to try and do an oak tree in this space, it was like running a marathon.
Yeah.
So I'm standing next to you, but I'm really laying down on the floor, curled up, somewhat in a ball, and drooling.
Well, to make sure it all works out. Oh, but this is great, though. I mean, if you were in this space before and you know what it looked like, this is nothing like you would have imagined. In here, it's amazing how much space is in the lower level of this brand new building. I could only wonder what people are paying to live above this building.
It's pretty. It's on their website, but but they really did their best to make it available to us. They dug down. They dug further than they were planning.
Yeah.
They made adjustments for it because I think they were excited by the notion of it, and they've been good partners.
And if you remember from earlier in this conversation, there was a lot of activity outside. This neighborhood is bustling.
Yes.
I mean, there are people moving about all the time. And we're not even in the afternoon where the park comes alive.
Yeah.
You know, but there's so much out here. There's quite a few restaurants within walking distance of the theater. And this space is a welcomed addition. It's going to be great here. I can't wait to see an oak tree. I have opening night confirmation.
Excellent.
And I'm looking forward to this. And I especially looking forward to listening to people sitting in the house talking about what a wonderful space this is and how I was here before. Remember when we were that spot was, this is amazing.
Entirely different. They dug down, they cleaned it out, and we made something new. And it took a lot of people to do it, and it's been pretty exciting to do it. Cecil Baker was there, and everyone there has been wonderful. Columbus Construction, who's also in South Philly. Like, it was great to work with so many people who were local and sort of understood that this is a great thing that's happening. And then opening with this show in Oak Tree, which is unusual. It steps outside of the structure of traditional storytelling. It makes you part of the story. You can't help but being part of the story. And it's an exciting way to start this. And I was thrilled that Joe allowed Joe to be the first director in this space. And that's been to work towards that as an aspiration.
Now, if the weather would behave itself so we can have a nice opening.
That's right. Yeah, Crash the Party at Paradiso, which is again on East Passyunk.
Yeah.
And then we're creating, I think it might already be done, we've created a discount if people want to come back and see a show again, so you don't have to pay full price.
Yeah.
For
I always think that is a great idea. Sometimes when you walk out of a theater, you have so much to say.
Yeah.
There's so much more to that conversation. And I always thought it'd be a great opportunity to be like, come see it again. Half-price ticket, bring a friend.
Well, artists, I'll do this as a promo. For every show, theater artists get half price. You can buy them ahead of time at half price. It's not a wait and see if there are tickets available. You can always do half price tickets for artists.
Go get your artist card.
Oh yeah, do
Theatre
that too.
Philadelphia.
We do that as well. Yeah.
So we've gotten this far. Is there anything else on the wish list for the new Exile building?
Well, as you can see, it's still not done. Yes, there are new chairs. We want to order new chairs. We don't have our lighting. We don't have a ClearCom system. We don't have. There's a lot of things that we don't have yet that are still coming. Some of them are in the works, like your water fountains and the doors.
Yes.
But there are things that we are still raising money to get the new sound system, like I said, the new chairs, ClearCom, things like that.
But that's why you have to get here. You have to buy at least 2 tickets because theater is more fun with a +1.
There you go. That's true too.
And you have to continue to support this development of this space. And every time you come back, you're going to see new things that are being added.
You can buy a chair for $1,000.
Ooh,
Any
wow.
new or increased donations are matched 2-to-1 by the Independence Foundation. There you go.
There you go.
So they want to help us, help you, help us make this the best theater it can be.
And figure out what else they can put your name on if you're
That's
interested. Can I put my name on one of the work lights?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Right there is the Darnell Radford Rep Radio work light.
There you go.
It's wonderful. It's always working. It's LED. It's great.
That's great. You can absolutely do that. Definitely in the chairs. We have Dan O'Neill and Sarah Madden said they're buying one of the showers for the Exile.
So you can walk in there and just are you good? Okay, I'm just checking because I paid for that.
I think they're going to have their faces on the shower all the time. Not at all creepy.
Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy.
Oh, well, thank you so much for the tour. This is wonderful. I saw it when it was a
big hole in the ground?
Big hole in the ground, and I kept walking by it going, because I love construction. I love watching it come up and see how fast it comes up. I feel like on my route to work, I've been watching this building in Rittenhouse area get rehabbed, and it's been rehabbed for probably about 3 or 4 years, and I'm just like, finish it already, come on. Like, this came up pretty quickly, considering.
Yep.
But I guess you do have a lot more opportunity when you're starting from scratch than
Well, it also
preserving a building.
In order to do this, in order to work together, I had to work on a developer's timeline.
Yeah.
And so that meant I needed to run because they bought this space and it was expensive and they needed to make it real fast. And so if I was going to be part of that deal, I had to be part of that timeline.
And the theater is the foundation of this building, literally.
It is literally the foundation of the building.
So
That's great.
It
I
had
love
to
your turn of phrase.
come aboard first.
That's right.
Yes. So, okay, you guys, the developers here made a serious investment and commitment in Theatre Exile, and you should too. You should definitely get here and experience in Oak Tree. It is on stage now through
March 10th.
March 10th. You can get your tickets, Theatre Exile. That's Theatre Exile, EXILE.org, with his featuring Pearce Bunting and an amazing list of guest artists. And you can look at that list and be completely amazed depending on your day, but don't let those days specifically tie you up. Come see so many of our wonderful Philadelphia artists grace this new space as it continues to grow and find its carve itself into this wonderful neighborhood. Deb, thank you so much for giving me a tour and showing me this space, and I can't wait to see a full season in here. It's going to be wonderful.
Thank you so much for taking the time and doing this. I'm just effusive to share this with everyone.
Great. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We're hugging. You
We're
can't see that, but you can hear it. Okay. All right. Thank you for being on Rep Radio. It's always a pleasure.
Rep Radio continues to be inspired by our community and listeners like you. You can support our work through our fiscal sponsor, Fractured Atlas, and through our Patreon page. Visit repradio.org/donate for more. Stay tuned. You know the rest.